views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast are the content creator's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of Essex County College. The material and information presented here is for entertainment and informative purposes only. It should not be considered as professional advice or a substitute for seeking professional guidance.
This is an on-camera shot of Short from SLAOESSEX, episode number 4, take 1. Hello. Recently I've noticed that my third episode failed and my fourth episode, the trailer for episode 3 backfired, and so has the real episode that I showed you. But I guess it's the reason why I said it was a good idea to only do 4 episodes, but that's it. So if you missed episodes 1, 2, and 3, then well, you don't really need to go back, but I'll go ahead and tell you what's going to happen next. So listen closely. In episode 1, don't use cinematic if you intend to create short-form content. You can try to build a story, but I won't see an Instagram Reels as an Oscar-winning film. In episode 2, you learn that hooks require a purpose and how important your audience is, more than your egoistic standards. In episode 3, every educational or informational video should demonstrate in a way that your viewers won't expect a call to action cop-out or confuse themselves with clients over your self-interest. So to end it off, we're going to dissect the word viral. That's it. There's nothing else included. But in all seriousness, this guidebook is going to be important. So no, you're not reading it the wrong way like it's 1995, idiot. However, you'll find that others will say that your video will go viral if it's repetitive and very low effort. What I won't tell you is that most answers you find online are not meant or intended to give you a one-size-fits-all answer for everyone. Here's what I mean. Want to grow your following? You don't need a course, just this free guide. Now imagine your content guru sending their guides that think media has told them to follow. So the first step is jump on a large-scale bandwagon and then say what goes wrong. We studied the tactics of content growth experts like Brock Johnson, Justin Starr, Vanessa Lau, and more. I never heard of any of these creators but Brock. He's produced some questionable content, such as the miniskirt rule, and promoted that your audience is illiterate. Now don't get too cocky about that. Then we turned them into a 3-part guide and made it 100% free. It's called exploitation. 2 episodes ago, you may have been like, my boss is going to fire me if I haven't told you the secret yet. Then why bother? Your video is not going to be informational if you're going to be useless. But you already know that by now. How about this? You are a content creator, and if you follow me but you haven't grown above 1,000 followers or even 100 followers, then you're doing it the wrong way. I don't even know what I'm doing. Time and time again, I will say to you, there's no wrong way to create your content. But if there's one thing you haven't learned yet, you don't have a personal style. When I took classes like Room 3130, I learned that my origins lay in video art, although I had no experience with analog art. Am I color grading the visuals the wrong way? Yes, but that's why I believe experimenting with my camera roll will always be essential for new ideas, but that will depend on you. As long as I understand color theory, everything is fine. Now let's talk about your favorite word, or your creator's favorite word, viral. What does that mean? Let's say that they find your niche topic interesting to a specific audience. The more shares and likes you gain, the more the algorithm rewards you with a small fan base. However, if you post travel reels more consistently, just remember that the same people who use us as the cheat code for Instagram are not meant to play the lottery. Now let's take a close look at the 60-page guidebook from Square A, and maybe from Square B, or probably nowhere. Notice how the guidebook isn't properly stable and has the outdated Instagram logo? It includes a special message that covers everything about her journey to fame. One part of her book includes 4 pages that explain her magical 3x9 formula. She talks about it in one of her videos, but you have to read the caption, so I'll do it for you. First, open Instagram edits and analyze the last 9 videos. Then, use these analytics and put them onto Google Docs. Afterwards, you won't understand this method because you'll need mathematics to solve the follower conversion rate. See algebra for details. Notice how the footer claims that you should start a business once you reach more than 100 followers? Ask yourself, what do you really want to make online? What do you want to post online? But never ask whether they're profitable. Where's the fun in that? Although Ghost City Incorporated is my personal brand, I have no experience with business, so I'm not going to pretend that I'm a business advisor to you. Go find someone else for that. Now let's talk about my biggest concern. You redirect your readers to a YouTube video that goes deeper into creating viral reels. I want you to pause for a second and imagine this. You're an art major, and you sign up for our appreciation. I think of this class as the live version of Art Histories 1 and 2. You may say otherwise. If you wanted to know more about art, you could have taken 1 or 2 of his classes, which would have been Art History 1 and 2. Congrats, now you know what art means. Now, what if I told you wanted to know more about the artist, so he would redirect you back to art appreciation again? That's like going in circles without knowing what you're doing. But don't worry, unlike the book, you've learned a lesson to enroll in a different class. That's the equivalent of where I'm going. You read a 60-page book with consistent grammatical errors, several screenshots that take up the space of your book, only for you to watch a YouTube video that will only serve you nothing. Here's what's worse. Remember the video I shared earlier? It was more cuts equals more engagement. And if you have been listening to me since episode 2, well, you won't be ready for what I'm going to say next. So, brace yourselves.
More cuts equals more engagement.
I'm going to tell you this again. Do not follow this advice unless you're really desperate to get into the world of brain rot.
The human attention span is here, so the amount of shots you have need to be here.
This is what I mean when I say I will not tolerate plagiarism. And I haven't heard enough people call him out for copying a whole video word by word.
More cuts equals more engagement. The human attention span has gone to so has a rule of
Now you know what I mean. Eventually, multiple creators exploited this hook and made pointless experiments about what goes viral and what doesn't. I highly doubt that I'll gain 1,000 views just because I'm faking intelligence, going outside and plugging my microphone in. Especially now that I have a new camera. One of the best ways to detect copycats is by examining the video's release dates. You may never know who uploaded first and then who copied from one another, such as this one.
You'll never win on social media if you don't copy other viral videos.
They ended up gaining an embarrassing 9 likes, compared to this video that uses the same style but in a different color. And how can I forget? This claim is how you get scammed on social media. Or worse.
Nunca vas a tener resultados en Instagram si no copias otros vídeos virales, te lo demuestro.
You're not building a strategy. And when you're not building strategy, you're not building any sort of inspiration. But I think you've gotten the point of what I'm saying. So I'm going to go ahead and just stick into I'm just going to move to the outro because that's more important. This video's already going on for so long, I need to go home. And you'll see more about that later on. And with that, viral is a virus that makes you think that you should trust your content creator, but that isn't always the case. You can simplify your process by using AI, but you will never be original and you will never be as skilled as an expert. If you want to learn more about the content creation and the many myths that content gurus use, I'd recommend you to watch Influential Courses or Garbage, The Dark Side of Content Creation, which goes more in depth on the YouTube algorithm more than the TikTok one, or even Instagram. My show is meant to demonstrate you what it feels like to watch a couple of IG reels, only for someone like me to lose their brain cells. So if you did lose one, then I apologize, and yeah, I don't have the right to call myself a certified media expert. Oh well. Well, anyways, that's it for Short from Slobs, and that is it for me. So until the next time, if you have anything you want me to talk about next, if you enjoyed this series, then comment below. And if you don't want to comment below, then that's fine. I just want your feedback on this series and what can I improve next. What do you want me to do next? Because I'm always going to be here until I graduate. So until then, this is me, Jon Inahuazo, because I am the creator of the LONER, and I am now an expert in speed trashing. Hey guys, well, the film club just transferring one of the files. I would probably say more like an SD file. This B-roll footage I'm currently using is just so heavy that, yeah, I just have to stay here for the whole night until all of this is done. But before I go, I wanted to go ahead and give you a message. So while all of this, like me editing this whole video may have been fun, it's not as funny when you talk about fires. So if there's one thing I wanted to go ahead and give you, at least before I leave you guys again until September or October, please do not play with fire, because you already know fire hazards. So if you have children, if you have anyone who's playing around with fires, even weapons, fires, don't try not to do anything at home. I would rather say just don't do it indoors. And so if there's any hazardous activities you want to do, then just try to go outside for that. Just don't go out inside, don't go outside. Actually, no, don't go indoors, because as I said, that's going to cause a fire hazard. If you do it outdoors, then maybe you should be fine. But as long as the items at the objects aren't as flammable, I believe. And I guess when I say a B-roll, like Blackmagic Raw, I think I need to buy myself a new computer, but I'm not gonna waste like $2,000 or so for speed. I'll talk more about that when season 4 comes in, but I'm gonna go ahead and end it right here. So thank you again for listening. Thank you for watching me for this past year. And I will catch you guys again when I'm ready.
This has been a production of the Essex County College Podcast Club. Copyright 2024, all rights reserved.